Dr. Jen, and I'm one of the founders of Aliveness programs. And thank you so much for tuning in. We're just going to take about a minute, and I want to talk with you about this idea of the choose moment. We have lots of these choose moments in life, but what really defines these choose moments is that these are moments where it takes courage, it takes leaping into the unknown and having some kind of faith. The other thing about these choose moments is they alter the course of our lives. Sometimes at the moment, we don't even know that that's going to be the result. So I want to share just briefly about one of my choose moments. So for anybody who knows me, you know that when I feel sometimes my most alive is when I travel. And I was taking a trip with a dear friend of mine and colleague from graduate school, and we were planning a trip to Africa. And we were going to do some service work the first part of the trip, and then we were going to take this amazing safari that I had read about in National Geographic years before. And it was one of those trips I had put on my bucket list, and gosh, someday I'd love to do that. And it was taking a safari to go see these gorillas in the wild. So we planned this trip. We're going, we show up in Africa for the first part of the trip of service, and the conditions were somewhat challenging, and my friend and colleague got very ill, and it was clear that she was going to need to go back to the United States. And at that moment, I really had to make a decision. Was I going to head back home with her, or was I going to continue on? You know, perhaps we could have canceled the trip, got our money back, and at some point did the trip again. But who knows if that would have ever happened. And so I decided to take the leap of faith and to go, as you can see from the pictures that are on the blog. And I am so glad that I went, and I'm so glad that my friend encouraged me to go for the both of us. And what I will say is that, yes, it was amazing to see these gorillas in the wild, to trek through these Virunga mountains to find your gorilla family. And the lodge I stayed in was exquisite, even though the first night I was absolutely, completely by myself in the lodge, in this little hut on top of a mountain in Rwanda, knowing not a soul. But I will tell you what I learned more about that choose moment was I learned that I could really count on myself no matter where I was in the world. And I also learned that every step of the way there were people who I met on that trip that I felt so taken care of on that trip, that it didn't matter that I was alone, because the truth was I was never alone on this trip. And the other thing was, pretty shortly after that huge adventure, I ended up really changing the course of my career, and still working in the area of food and body, but really making a decision to step out on my own in a new way. So a lot of good things really came from that trip, and most importantly, what I learned about myself. So we're really going to invite you to take a choose moment with the Aliveness team. We have an upcoming course called Intentional Living. And this course is all about the choose moment. It's all about creating your life in the biggest, juiciest, most alive kind of way possible. And we do this in conscious community, both with the Aliveness team, but with other amazing, like-minded, very powerful women who are out to cause things in the world. And so if you're finding that you really want to kind of move to the next level in your life, perhaps you're feeling stuck in certain areas of your life, and you just know that left to your own devices, you're going to kind of keep doing it the same way, then I just really invite you to take a closer look at the Intentional Living course. I am more than happy to speak with you to see if this course is really a fit for you. And we really look forward to having you join us on this journey. And we promise you it is going to be one of these choose moments that is going to be life-altering.